Hello, we're getting fancy here at the end of Indie Vent. This is Meredith Loughran, and I am the project coordinator of the Indie Vent. You can find us on YouTube with the hashtag INDEEVENT. This is day 3 of our event, where a bunch of our indie creators have brought their live streams together under one banner. And we're giving each other a lot of love, and so maybe we'll lick some book spines today. But so today's topic this evening in this hour is self-publish. Let's discuss. We've got a round table, and I'm going to go around the room and let them introduce themselves, and then I'm going to kind of pass the baton because this is truly a round table. I don't want to say that I'm the moderator because I'm exhausted, and you guys know how to talk. So let's do this thing. We've got Cindy Koepp here. Let's add her. We've got Donna in there. Who else is joining us? We might actually have Gary come in. I hope he does. Cool. Okay, cool. So let's go around the room. Somebody's got a little bit of an echo. All right.
Could be me.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. I'm going to mute you until I find you. And just so you know, the word of the day is
butt beard.
Butt beard. All right. Thank you so much. Let's see. This is.
What's that?
I need to hit the booze. I'm thirsty. Okay. At 8 o'clock, there is going to be a special Facebook Live. Okay, somebody's echoing. I'm going to try and mute. Is that? Nope, that's not. It might be Cindy. Cindy, let's try and mute. Oh, okay. I think it's you, Cindy. Do you have earbuds? Okay. Cool. So I'm just going to leave her on mute right now. So we are going to be talking about self-publishing. Let's discuss. I know that I have personally tried to send my books to the main publishers, trying to find an agent and stuff like that. And I inevitably get the rejection letter. I actually used to have my first one framed because I just said, I made it as an author in my failure. And so I have gone the self-publishing route. And I want to kind of go around the room and see what you guys have decided as far as, let's see. Okay, Cindy, I don't hear that echo anymore, so great. But can we hear you?
I hope so. Oh,
yes, perfect. Okay, so we're going to go around the room. I'm going to put you up on the big screen. Tell us who you are. We'll talk about like where we can find your books later. Just a quick introduction because it's only an hour, and we're going to start with Irene.
Oh, I get to go first.
You get to go first.
Okay, I am Irene Smith. I did self-publish my first book. I'm torn now between doing it again or trying for a regular publisher. I'm working on a second volume of flash fiction. The first one is called Dreams in Transit. I also write occasionally for this blog called Wild One Forever. And I do short stories, I do flash fiction, I do some web design, just a little of everything.
All right.
Hello.
Cindy Koepp.
I'm Cindy Koepp. I write sci-fi, fantasy, game lit, and teacher resources. My teacher resources are self-published. The rest were published through small presses or co-ops. And I'm considering self-pubbing the next few.
All right.
Yes, my name is Donna Carlene. I write crime drama, historical romance, science fiction, fantasy. I'm too lazy to go through all that crap about submitting to a regular publisher, so self-publishing's best for me.
All right. Karl Witsman.
I'm Karl Witsman, and I am an alcoholic. I mean, I'm a self-publisher.
Well, that was short and sweet. Brian K. Morris.
Hi, I'm Brian K. Morrison. I'm an alcoholic because I self-publish. No, actually, we do horror, humor, contemporary fantasy, strong female characters, but we're a hybrid author in that we're also published by other people.
Ooh, Teresa Dunn.
Hi, I'm Teresa Dunn, and I'm author of Poetry Expressions. I love writing poetry, and I went with a publisher, and I want to self-publish.
All right, I'm Meredith Loughran. I have done erotica. I have a lot of works that are collecting dust right now. I also write for Wild One Forever as well as Geek Insider. And I don't have any limits on the topics that I write because I have a brain and I can do research and I know how to write. So on that note, okay, so self-publishing. And I actually, I'm going to ask a question and then I'm going to pass the baton to Brian. Maybe you can ask a question. Teresa, I hope that you have questions kind of set to ask us, so that, because I'd love to give us all an opportunity to kind of take the baton and then pass it and kind of be a moderator. It doesn't have to be just, it's not me. It's not for me. Where was I going? I'm just going to pass the baton. Brian, do you have
Okay, fine.
as far as self-publishing and all that stuff?
Didn't you say something about asking a question first?
No, yeah. My question is where I need another glass of whiskey.
It needs another
No,
bottle.
that wasn't even a question. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make it till 10, guys. I'm not. I don't think so.
We'll see. Anyway, you wanted to know about self-publishing. Self-publishing, I think, is the way to go. When I first heard about it in 2012, all I could see was the potential, because everything I had ever wanted to do with my writing, suddenly the technology had caught up with my dreams. And since then, I have used my self-publishing not only to advance my career, such as it is, but also to find gigs with other people. So, because the thing, when you have one of these, this is not just your little brainchild, your work of art, your little moneymaker. This is also your business card and your resume. So I've been able to parlay my credits into some, rather attractive assignments now. And who did you want me to throw to, Meredith?
If you could pass it to Teresa, see if maybe she's got a question for the panel and her path to self-publishing.
Okay, well, I'll have a question for her, and I usually ask these things because I know the answer. Your first book was published through someone else. Now, you say that your second book is going to be published by you, Poetry Expressions by Teresa Dunn, available on Amazon. Always promote. And Teresa, what is driving you to self-publish, and what has been the biggest impediment so far to realizing your self-publishing dreams?
Well, I kind of had a lot of problems with the person that published it the first time because just trying to get it done and trying to kind of push booster to get it going a little faster and stuff like that. And there's just a lot of things. I mean, I was being put off and excuses. And that's one of the main reasons I want to self-publish it myself, because that way I can get it done when I want it done and out there to promote it and get it out there.
Mm-hmm. And if you had one question to ask any one of us about self-publishing, what would it be and who do you call?
Well, the one question is, how much would it cost to do it myself, and how much is there put into it, the business side of it,
and who can answer that? No volunteers? All right, Karl, you answer that because Brian's hiding.
Okay. If you want to publish your own book, you could do so for no money whatsoever. or you can spend thousands of dollars. It is totally up to you, because if you go through an ebook, you can write the book, upload it to a site, and let someone else handle all the requests for that book. And you just rake in the money, okay? Not much, but you rake it in. You can also have printed copies of the book, okay? You can decide, I don't want to pay for any of this. You use something called print on demand, which they basically don't print a book until one of your people order it offline. So they will go to Amazon or Lulu or wherever, and they'll say, I want that book. And they pay their money, they print it and ship it. You don't pay anything. Now, if you want to go to shows, then you might want 20 copies of your book. And that may cost you a little bit of money there. If you buy 1,000 copies of your book, wow, you must have a lot of friends.
All right, Karl, your turn to ask a question to somebody here who hasn't answered one yet.
Oh, okay. Donna, what's your most frustrating experience with your publisher?
Wait a minute. I thought she was self-published.
She is. In a way.
That was not nice.
In a way, she's self-published.
You know, Russell's wanting to know why you're letting me show you up by having a cigar and you're not. The most frustrating with my publisher is that he doesn't get his butt moving when I think he should, because it's July and aren't I due for another one out? Say that Dragons and Wizards, that is such a great book and also has a little sex in it.
For those who don't know, those two know each other, okay?
A little bit.
I was kind of getting that idea.
All right, Donna, it's your turn to ask a question to somebody who hasn't answered a question yet.
Who hasn't answered?
Irene, Cindy, Brian, you answered mine. I didn't have one, actually. So, yeah.
Well, that doesn't count then, does it?
Cindy, you said that you're going to start publishing. Okay. It just lost it. I'm old. Thank you.
I'm probably older.
All of you get off my lawn.
Who had inspired you to self-publish?
Actually, I had thought about self-publishing even with my first one, but at the time I was an elementary school teacher, so I didn't have time to breathe, never mind figure out how to self-publish anything, which is why I went with small presses. Switching gears now, as I'm starting to go to shows, I find that I don't have much control over whether or not I can get physical copies. There are 3 of my books that are only available as ebook now, and there doesn't seem to be a way for me to get a physical copy anymore. So that which I have in stock is the end of it. So I mean, that is mostly what's driving my interest toward self-pubbing again. Just that I have control of the distribution, and I can do crazy things like put up an Amazon ad if I feel like it, because I discovered I can't do Amazon ads either, because everything is published through somebody who isn't me. I can do Amazon ads for my teacher resources, but I'm looking into redoing those because the cover art's very DIY, and really DIY. So that's mostly what's going on for why I'm considering it now.
Okay, and you get to ask a question to either Irene or, am I in this? No, I am not.
Why not?
No.
All right, then Irene, I guess you're it. Tag.
I guess so.
I am trying to drink. Thank you.
So what's the question?
All right. What is the most challenging thing about self-publishing?
Making sure that you do a good job proofreading. I thought
I
I
can see
did
that.
a great job. And then a friend of mine recently showed me the typos in my book, which I'm going to fix and republish. But yeah, I was horrified. I thought I did such a good job, and I had 2 other people read it, and we still missed.
Oh no. And you get
Yeah.
to, okay, so next round you get to, well, let's just keep going around. Irene, go ahead and ask somebody a question. As far,
Okay.
in the self-publishing realm.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll just throw this one out to the whole panel. What do you do about your cover art? Do you do it yourself, or do you have someone do it?
That's a great question. Who wants to go? Raise your hand and then we'll call on you. Go ahead, Carl.
I at first did my own cover art, which was not so great all the time. And to point up what Cindy was saying, I've had a book now that has been in print of sorts since the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a topic that doesn't change, and I was able to just change the cover, change some of the things to update them a little bit, and that was great. And as that book has gotten better and better, I ended up finally hiring someone else to do the art. And on my latest one, I couldn't be more pleased with what that artist did.
Okay, Cindy, you raised your hand next.
Okie dokie. My teacher resources I DIY'd. I found a royalty-free clip art site, snagged some stuff, put it together, goofed around with it in GIMP, sort of. Couldn't figure out GIMP, used Paint instead. That didn't work real well either. Ended up with a cover and went for it. And it looks like it. Except for the most recent release, the 4 previous were put out through a Koepp press called Lumen Anime, and Koepp is kind of like mutant self-publishing. And I hired a cover artist named Matt Ostrom, and he did fantastic work. So he did 4 out of my 8 covers.
Oh, very good. Teresa, go ahead, Brian.
I'll take it next. This is where networking comes in, which is basically, for those of you who are outside the industry, it's called making friends. In fact, I've been going to something called the Superman Celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. Yes, there is Metropolis, since 1999. And somebody I've gotten to know very well is an artist named Trevor Eric Hawkins. No relation to the awesome Eric Hawkins, who is in our queue right now, making sure I don't insult him. Anyway, my friend Trevor, he's got a fine art degree, and he's gotten some stuff like on the cover of Georgia magazine, because he knows the editor there, and he's also managed to network to get into like the Gone with the Wind Museum to do portraits. Plus, he did these at the Superman Celebration, some other portraits of comic characters. And I went up to him and I said, dude, I would love it if you did a cover for my first paperback release, which was Santastein. And he did what I think is a beautiful knock it out of the field cover. And the reason he wanted to do it was because his dad, for 20 years, has been saying, I got you a degree in fine arts. Where's your money? Why are you working in a copy shop? And just so Trevor could go up to his dad and say, look, I'm published now. And I told him, I'll pay you, dude. And he's like, no. I just want that satisfaction of being able to shake this in his face. And since then, this book has sold in 6 different countries, and he gets a royalty every time I sell it. And that is why he is, kind of like my go-to paperback guy. Although he's had to slow down recently, and we're going to get him some assistance on this. And then on this one, he came up with so many good ideas. He's the co-owner of Volcana. So anyway, that's my deal with him. But basically, I had used the free cover thing that came with Kindle, and it looks like Stevie Wonder did it. It is just dreadful. It is beyond elementary. Cover art, yes, you find a capable artist, Eric Hawkins, artist writer of the Zombieful World of Oz, available now on Indiegogo. Or wait, that ended last night. Never mind. Go find him in the convention when we start having them. Anyway, so the best thing is I found just I've got a bunch of people. There we go. See, now that cover that Carl's holding up was done by the wonderful Eric Hawkins. But the thing is, there are artists out there who want to do it just for the recognition, or they have their own motives. Now, I am looking at getting some paid artists, but that's how I have found covers, and I'm never doing my own again. I promise you this.
Mm-hmm. But I know that Teresa, you've got a poetry book, and it's a lovely cover. Did you design it yourself, or did you have to hire somebody?
Actually, I had somebody else do it. And the second one, I'm having somebody else do it too. I'm not the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Donna, go and,
oh, sorry. Go
I did it too. Go ahead.
No. There's a little bit of a delay, so I didn't mean to stomp on you.
Actually, networking is the best way to learn to find out people that would do your books. And that's how I found out, through networking.
Mm-hmm. Donna, how about you? Cover art?
On my poetry book, I had an artist friend of mine design those. My Hunter's Ridge has a theme cover. It's white, and then it has a man embracing a woman. The standard legs in the air, but they're in silhouette. And those two are always on the cover of the book. The first one has a rifle sight imposed over them. The second one has old friends, new enemies. Has a man in the corner, a silhouette, shaking his fist at them. The third one is simply called Family and has a lot of silhouettes around the central characters. On my Bethan Hills, the first one, my main character was in a wheelchair and had been abducted. So I took my wheelchair and put it down by the side of the van in a parking garage, took a picture of that, and that's what we used. And the last two were, I believe, off of one of those free picture things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where we go from here. I'm hoping maybe with Dragons and Wizards, we can maybe talk a certain Eric Hawkins into doing something.
I know for me personally, I love playing in Photoshop, and I've used Pixabay to find a lot of royalty photos and things like that, and tried to adjust them and make them my own. I think my favorite cover so far has been the book that hasn't been released yet. It's my anthology of short horror tales. I know Brian's got a preview of that. But I try to design my own only because I have a vision of it in my head. I can't always put it out on paper, and I don't know. I think it might be a budgeting thing, or just, again, kind of a lazy, I don't have time to be looking for artists and things like that. I just need a damn cover for my book, and I realize how important it is. So it's kind of frustrating for me. So I'm like, I'll just do it myself, and maybe in I don't know, the second edition I'll be able to hire somebody, because I'm going to be like the next J.K. Rowling's not ever. Irene Smith, though, you've done your own covers too, right? I'm going to turn your own question.
Yes, I did my own cover for Dreams in Transit, and I was super duper proud of it because I took a picture from the back on the train. Most of the stories were written on the train. So I took a picture of these people sitting on the train, and then I got clip art with images that represented some of the stories, and I put it in thought bubbles over their head. And I was so proud of that. And then somebody said, boy, that sure looks amateurish. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach.
Okay, I guess I'm going to ask the next question. As far as self-publishing, what is the favorite platform that you like to self-publish in? let's see, because I personally use I use Smashwords, and I'm getting ready to look at Amazon. I'm not sure I want to pull the trigger on Amazon because it just feels like too many restrictions. So thoughts going around the room.
You don't have to be restricted on Amazon if you don't sign up for the Kindle Select. And it costs nothing to be there.
Carl, you
Now
had your
shut
hand
up.
up?
Yeah, I had been afraid of Amazon having restrictions too. Maybe it's not as bad now as it was when I first looked. So that's why we went with Lulu.
Okay. I've never actually heard of Lulu until I started looking for Donna's books.
Ah.
So that's new to me.
And Donna will tell you that her latest book was in the throes of being published when they changed the website. And now you cannot find her latest book.
Oh,
so
fun.
it may be going to Amazon as our first experiment in trying it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I know Brian and Cindy and Teresa, you have your books on Amazon. What is your experience there? Have you thought about staying there, jumping ship? Have you tried other self-publishing platforms?
I'll take it. Yes, Amazon, when I first started self-publishing in 2012, was the most user-friendly of all the platforms at the time. And the restrictions, unless you're showing like genitalia or certain words that I won't say here, then it's really pretty freewheeling there. It's almost like the Old West. Now, having said that, I have moved into Smashwords for some of my ebook just to spread my platform out a little. And I am looking at Ingram Spark for the reason that they'll still get it onto Amazon, but they also have a wider reach for other platforms that they can put it on, such as like Walmart and Books A Million, various other places. Plus, they can handle retail sales if you so want. So I think it's something where you kind of get your feet wet in Amazon and then move on to other platforms once you gain the confidence.
Mm-hmm. Teresa or Cindy?
I'm going to go to Amazon again because I agree with Brian. Because you get so much of a wide area of different resources, like Books A Million and Goodreads and even Walmart. So I'm going to stick with Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Now I know, Cindy, you do multiple genres. You don't just stick with, so you have kind of like Irene. She does a lot of tech writing, although I don't know that you have tech books on Amazon.
I do not.
Okay, but Cindy, what is your experience? Amazon, is that the platform for you? Have you migrated from another place? Are you looking to migrate to another place? Oh, we don't hear you. I don't hear you yet. Oh no, we lost your audio. Oh, it looks forlorn. Oh no, I don't like seeing it.
That is so frustrating.
Try unplugging it and plugging it back in.
Yeah. Oh, she just unplugged herself. All right, she'll be back. We'll
Come back.
her back.
Come back.
Come back. Come back. I hate when that happens. Oh,
Actually, on the question you asked me about technical books, I have a very dear friend who self-publishes technical books. And he says self-publishing is more the way to go for books about programming or computers.
Okay. Cindy, can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay!
Yay! Okie dokie. My first teaching resource was a math book, and I started that one on Smashwords, actually, and it's still there. And then released it simultaneously on Amazon. Smashwords, I didn't sell anything there. Amazon, I occasionally sell one in Japan, which I think is kind of weird, but hey, why not? So when I released the other three in 2013 or 2014, something like that. I just put them all out into Amazon. The publishers that I work with for the 5 more recent books all went through Ingram, and that seems to work pretty well. It's a little slower to respond sometimes, but I mean it's rocking and rolling. The first 3 of my books, they put the ebooks up through Amazon, but they had their own printing press, so they did their own printing, and it was available through Amazon, but they did their own, and that's I think that's one of the reasons why they're no longer available in print.
Oh, that's frustrating. All right, so Cindy, you were the last to answer the question. Go ahead and ask one. I just put you on the spot. Ha ha. Welcome to broadcasting.
Thanks. Alrighty. How important is it to? Yeah, right. How important is it to have a wide distribution, or would it be preferable to use something like Kindle Unlimited?
Really good question.
Yeah.
So who's had you've had experience with Kindle Unlimited?
Yeah. When I started out, I was on Kindle Unlimited, where, for those of you who don't know, it is a program that allow Amazon to help you run sales and things like that. But on the other hand, you have to be exclusive with them with your ebooks. And a number of authors that I know of have, basically done a lot of good with the page counts, because you also get paid for your page reads. Because somebody can pick up your book for free, and then they read the book, and you get paid for whatever they read, however much it is. I found my page reads for my kind of work didn't amount to a whole lot. Plus, it was restricting me to get into other venues and to go wide, because I thought maybe if I got a little more exposure in other platforms, that it might help me. And so I dropped out 3 years ago, and now I've gone wide ever since, and it has worked for me. I like to think that my books are just so gosh darn awesome that people want to read the whole thing. They don't want to read just 1 or 2 pages, but then I take a cold shower, and then I'm back to normal again. So.
Well, and Irene, did you have experience with the Kindle Unlimited?
I signed up for it when I first published the book. And then a couple of years later, I decided to republish and also go with Smashwords at the same time. And so therefore, I dropped out of the Kindle Unlimited. But I never really got a lot of page reads or a lot of, how you could they also allow you to make your book free for so many days every 90 days. And when I did that, a lot of people downloaded the book, but wow, that didn't do anything for me. So on the other hand, I have also found that I haven't sold a single thing through Smashwords, but I kind of like being there because I can give out coupons if I want to.
Yeah, that's where I see people for my promotions. If I want to give it, like for my newsletter, if I want to give a heavy discount, because Amazon quit their discount or their coupon program a couple of years ago and never told anyone. So
yeah, well, they didn't make a big deal about it in the first place, did they?
No, not really. No.
So Donna, can you tell us a little bit about Lulu? Because I went to the site and I got a little bit nervous because I didn't see anything in US dollars, which is how I pay for stuff.
Oh, I haven't had that problem. I don't know. Really, Karl would probably be better on that than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I know where to to order so many for mine for the thing, but Karl, can you help me here?
Depending on what you look at, because it is an international company, so they do print and they will send anywhere. And if they somehow think that you're not in the United States, like if you're using a VPN perhaps, they will convert to whatever they think, like if you say I'm in Australia on your VPN, then you'll get the AUD price. So that's happened to a couple people I've known. And it's really helped me to sell internationally with some of the books. What else did you want to know about it? Because I could go on a little while.
Yeah, I was just curious about Lulu because again, I never heard about it until I was purposely went looking for Donna's books,
Okay.
and so that's new to me. I mean, so going down the list, obviously Amazon is the big one for as far as self-publishing. We've got Smashwords, which I'm familiar with. Now we have Lulu.com. Are there any other places?
Yeah.
Off the top of your head that you can think of?
Draft to Digital, that's kind of new, and they're building their platform right now to be kind of all things to all people like Amazon, in that they'll do I think they're just keying up their paperback production, and they've been doing ebooks, and they're moving swiftly. They also have a pretty good program, I'm told, in audio books, which is probably a whole nother show entirely.
All right, cool. And Teresa's been kind of quiet, so I'm going to ask you get the next question. You get to ask somebody the next question. Putting you on the spot.
I don't have any questions. Honestly, have any of you tried selling your books on your own? I mean, just getting out there and going maybe not door to door, but just getting out there and selling your books on your own.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think conventions, book signings, and things like that.
And always carry your books with you wherever you go. Get a nice plastic bag to put them in, and then put that in a box. Put that in your back seat, and always be ready to sell, because we've had a couple of instances where we'll go somewhere. People ask Donna, "What do you do?" Well, I'm a writer. Oh, well, what have you written? Well, and they're not going to go to a website, later. They're not going to remember that. You have to make that sale right then and there. So we've become accustomed to carrying books with us, and we've got the Square. It's a little thing that sticks into your cell phone or your tablet, and you can accept credit cards. So there's no excuse. I didn't bring any money with me. We'll swipe that card for you.
Yeah,
Irene, how about you? Have you sold like trunk sales or book signings?
A little bit. I've done a couple book signings, and our local library had a thing for local authors where we had about 10 writers, and we all had our books, and we sold books at the library. So, but I haven't made a fortune doing it because I haven't really pursued it. When I first published, I was commuting to New York City 5 hours a day on the train, and I just didn't have time for stuff like that. I think when I do my next volume, I'm going to try to do more of it.
And I know, Brian, you're very big with the convention scene and bringing like physical copies and things and interacting. What are you doing as far as, because you're a self-publisher, it costs money to actually to print those books, and lug them wherever you need to go. So what are you doing as far as your sales and things?
Sorry.
Well, right now, when this whole My Sharona, Miley Cyrus, Peter pandemic started, y'all try practicing that sometime. I immediately started trying to promote my online sales at Smashwords and Amazon, and I'm one of those also, like Irene. I haven't seen a whole lot of needle movement from my Smashwords, aside from giving stuff away or occasional discount. But I use my newsletter and tell people that I've got books. I will still sell them. And Meredith, of course, was the beneficiary of my generosity one time when I went out and said, "Hey, listen, because I know how much I've got in this book." And I said, "Hey, I've got enough room. I'll eat the postage if you'll buy this book, and I'll sign it to you. And If you buy a whole bunch of them, I'll just, I'll sweep the floors and put that in there too. Whatever I can find and stick in there, I'll do it. And I got a wonderful response from that as well. And since then, I've been trying to get the hang of Amazon advertising, which is a constant struggle. And some days I'm better at it than most. But for the most part, I've been like a little more aggressive about online sales, and when I do my various broadcasts to remind people that I do have stuff for sale online. And if somebody buys it on Amazon, hooray! And when you see me at a show, I will still sign it. Or if you want, I won't sign it, and you'll owe me $20.
Okay, Cindy, how about you?
I've started doing cons. Well, I did last year. I was supposed to do one this weekend, but yeah, that didn't work. But I've got, if everything goes well, good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I've got 2 each of the next 2 weekends. My sales have not been woohoo, but I sell a few here and yonder. I did try selling them off my website. I did make a few sales. About as many as I make at an average con, but without the expense of the gas and the table rent. So I do some now and then, and I mean I'm not averse to trying it again. I want to talk to somebody who has been successful so I can figure out what I didn't do right. So maybe I'll have better joy at it next time around.
Mm-hmm. Donna, how about you? Well, I know that you and Karl kind of do you go to conventions and events together, or do you kind of do your own thing?
The one in Peoria was supposed to be our first one. That got canceled, so SilCon will be our first convention. We did the library route until they got too much into children's games during the presentation, and there were no adults coming around, and children are not going to buy, a book at $5 or $10 a piece.
Mhm.
Mostly going, when I've gone to social places, like when we played euchre, had my little briefcase. Oh, so and so, look what just came out, and I mean, I sold like 10 books in a month doing that, which was excellent, most in my opinion, because like I said before, I'm kind of lazy.
That's honest.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
This pandemic has made me very lazy.
Teresa, what about you? Because a few people have mentioned that they carry their books around for that quick sale when they're out in public and stuff. Do you have plans for going to conventions when the world opens up again, or how are you doing sales?
Well, I went to one this past December, and actually I've sold a lot of my books on my own through my church and where my husband goes to dialysis, and I've even went to the newspaper. I've actually went around and sold them to different people and different friends on Facebook. And actually, I've sold more books on my own than through Amazon. So,
Okay.
like Karl says to do, carry them with you wherever you go and just talk to people and let them know what you're doing and what you wrote about and try and sell it that way.
Okay, so Russell Allen gets the next question here. He says, have you ever kickstarted a book? Just a speed round, yes or no? Irene?
No.
Karl?
No, but I will.
Okay, Donna?
No.
Teresa, have you ever kickstarted? Well, you've only got the one book, right? The poetry book?
No, I've never kickstarted.
Okay, Cindy?
No, but that might become not yet, depending on how the self-publishing thing works out.
Okay, Brian, have you ever kickstarted?
Not a book like this. I did one comic book 2 years ago, but my next book, Doc Saga, will probably have some aspect of crowdfunding.
Okay, I mean, my answer is I did start a Kickstarter. It was mostly to learn Kickstarter, full expectation that it was going to fail, and it did. So and I had I had low expectations. I had a low amount. I set it to 500 because I wanted to see. And I didn't do any research on it. So I highly suggest that if you are a self-publisher and you're looking at Kickstarting, look at the panel that I did with Travis Gibb and Christy Shin on kickstarting and marketing your book, because it's a lot of information there. And honestly, if you've ever gone to Kickstarter, I think a lot of authors don't understand that you can put your books out there. There are games out there. There are movies in Kickstarter. There are products. There's tech. There's all kinds of stuff. So you're not limited to just comic books. Just because you hear Kickstarter, don't automatically assume that it's comic books. There are other books out there, and it's an interesting way to crowdfund. I actually think I like it much better than Patreon, because Patreon seems to be more of a serial type of thing, where you have to have content that you're churning out to make it valuable, and people keep going and visiting and have a reason to support you monthly. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the time for a Patreon thing. Kickstarter looks very much like it, but you have a time frame that you set it for. Unfortunately, it's all or nothing. So it's really important to build up your network. So I have done it. I knew that I was going to fail. I did fail, but I'm learning. And I did that on purpose just so that I could have something out there to say, okay, I did it. What do I do from here to make it better? That's how I learn, Let's see if we have any other questions. So Russell Allen says, oh, go ahead, Carl.
If you were going to do that again, what would you think you would set your dollar amount at?
Honestly, I would really have to look at it like a business. If my goal is to publish the book, print the book, and then ship the book, I want to make sure that I have all of those costs associated, and then tack on for the fact that Kickstarter isn't free to use. They take a percentage out. So you have to account for that when you're setting your goal. Then you have to account for shipping costs and things. So
sure,
there's a lot of stuff that you have to keep in mind. You can't just set a number. I set a number at 500 and I was just like, oh, free shipping. Okay, well, all right, I'm just going to do digital copies then, because that's all profit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I personally want to have that book that I can flip through the pages and things. So then I was deep diving into how much is it going to cost me to get X amount of books, and obviously you get more value when you buy in bulk, but I'm like, I can't afford all that,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I literally set up my Kickstarter to fail because I didn't want it to succeed. First of all, I didn't want to get to a point where I had to fulfill it. And, I mean, so that's my honest moment here. You really have to look at it as a business and find all of those expenses first.
Right. But you can set levels, right? So if your book is going to cost $10, you could say, if you pledge $10, you will get a book. If you pledge $5, thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
That's true.
yeah, there are the different levels where you can leave just just say, hey, I'm just throwing you a tip. You get nothing.
Right.
But again, if you have a digital copy and you say, hey, for $1 pledge, just to help boost my numbers and say that you supported it, I'm going to send you something. Send them a PDF or send them a sticker, something.
So if you were using print on demand, you would not order those books until the Kickstarter was done. You knew how many orders you had. You could say, okay, I got 25 orders. I'm only going to buy 25 books because that's all the Kickstarter was for. So you wouldn't really have to go too high on your desired amount, correct?
Right. But the goal was also to have enough printed copies. So if I went to, let's say Tampa Bay Comic Con, which was supposed to be this weekend, I wanted to have books available to have on hand so that I could do the trunk sale.
Sure. So you had a goal of how many books you wanted more than how much money you wanted. And I think that's the smart way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
go
and
ahead.
also something I've been looking at for my own publication is go ahead.
Pros. Oh no, I just wondered, what about other crowdfunding sources? Has anyone considered those? Like, what is it, Indiegogo or something like that?
Indiegogo is another one. Yeah.
And I think that
well, one danger with Indiegogo.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was going to say one danger with Indiegogo is if you have like a dollar goal. Let's say you need $1,000 to say privately print 200 copies and pay for a cover artist and a formatter, etc. You get everything you earn through that minus about 10% for Indiegogo to take for the processing fees home.
Sure.
Well, let's say you are asking for 1,000 and that covers all your expenses and you only make 100. You're still kind of obligated to put out the book, and then instead of 1,000, now it's only 900, but something like that could still sting. And you do want to fulfill your crowdfunding pledges because that can be a real black mark. Because people remember when you don't fulfill your promises on crowdfunding.
Sure. So what if you only raised 100, you get the $90 less their 10%?
Yes,
okay.
Correct. And another thing is Kickstarter, and I've found this for myself, and I've talked to other people in the industry. Kickstarter has an incredible reach as opposed to Indiegogo, and it has kind of a bit of a luster, if you will, that people trust in Kickstarter. It is practically the first thing you think of when you hear the word crowdfunding. So, I've talked to several people who tried Indiegogo, and it's just it's like pushing a grape uphill with your nose sometimes. Whereas you can build up momentum in Kickstarter. Plus, their reports that you can generate through that are a little bit more robust than what you find on other platforms.
Yeah, and like I said, in an earlier panel today for the Sunday Indie event, if you're tuning in and you go over to the playlist on YouTube, look for the hashtag INDEEVENT, and you're going to see it. Market your book with Travis Gibb and Christy Shin. They really touched on their Kickstarters, the different style that they did, the way that they put together their pledges, stretch goals, and things like that. I mean, it's just really, if you're going to go there, take the time to learn the platform and the best way to succeed. Again, when I did it, I went there with the plan to fail, because for me, I wanted to learn. I wanted to see what the tools looked like and stuff. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And we've got about 7 minutes, guys. So I wanted to finish that up because up next in this event, this weekend-long event, we've got Phantasmagoria, who is going to be doing Facebook Live, and I think they're kind of Victorian, kind of horror, kind of. I don't even know how to describe them. I think goth a little bit. So definitely tune into them on Facebook. Hopefully we'll get the stream so that we can put them on the live stream later on, but definitely tune into them. I want to go around the room. Please, everybody, tell the audience where they can find you, where your books are, and then we're going to follow up with an article so that everybody's got your links and we know where to get your stuff at our leisure, because an hour is just not long enough for these roundtable discussions. Okay, we're going to start off with Irene, because you're to my right.
Lucky me. You could. I actually have a website, irenepsmith.com. And there are links from there to my books and to other websites that I publish on. So that's probably the easiest. IrenePsmith.com.
Okay, that was easy enough.
Yeah.
Karl Witsman.
Hi. Currently, most of my books that I'm really trying to sell are on lulu.com. If you want other information, find me on Facebook. I'm around all the time.
All right, Miss Teresa Dunn.
I'm on Amazon.com, and you can find me on Facebook. I have my own Facebook group called Poetry Expressions, and I'm usually on there all the time.
Now, for Poetry Expressions, can we just do a Google search and you'll pop up for Amazon?
Yeah, you can find me on Google too.
Okay, excellent. And we're gonna get over here to Cindy. I'm sorry, I don't feel like you had enough time to speak.
Oh, no worries. I'm pretty easy to find. If you go to CKOEPP.com, I'll take you to my webpage where you can sign up for my newsletter and find out all kinds of crazy stuff about the junk I write.
Oh, that's not junk. Miss Donna.
Yes, just go to lulu.com and type in Donna Carlene. I'm also on Facebook, just a personal page. We'll be in Silicon and Mattoon this year. And Molly Daniels, I was there last year, but I was supporting Brian. I was only a visitor.
Oh, so did you have more?
Yep.
Okay, because before I put Brian up here, I don't want the short version because this is a lesson in marketing yourself. Brian K. Morris, go.
No pressure at all. Hey, if you want to, I'm Brian K. Morris. I'm available on Amazon and Smashwords, also on Facebook and on most social platforms. It's called Rising Tide Publications. This is a page on Facebook. Please sign up. We've got 2,100 people up there enjoying our constant daily content. You can be one of them. Also, risingtide.pub, not .com, but .pub, where you can sign up for my free monthly newsletter. The next one will go out August 1st. Plus, if you have nothing to do, or if you have something to do, skip it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central, we have an interactive talk show called Never Mind the Furthermore, where you'll see some of these lovely people on this panel. And also join us Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., 9 or 7 p.m. Central for Clever Title Pending, where we talk about, it's an interview show where we talk about creativity and the business behind it. And we got kind of a crazy idea for this coming Tuesday that could probably get me in a lot of trouble, but I've always been that guy to blindfold himself and then go running into the minefield. So that's what we're going to do. Meredith, thank you very much for having me on here, and stay tuned to Indie Event. We still got a few more hours to go with that.
All right, I am Meredith Loughran. I am the coordinator of Indie Event and the keeper of the schedule this weekend. We are almost done. I am hitting the booze. You can find me at meredithloughran.com. Nobody can spell my name, and that's all right, because you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under usually MaryJ99. Just Google me. And actually, Brian, because we're under your banner, we have your little Fez guy, your little Funko Fez guy. I would love for you to finish off with your usual saying before we
can
sign
do that
off.
thing. We
All
can
right.
do that thing. As we close out every broadcast that we do on YouTube, please check out my YouTube channel as well and subscribe and hit that like button, as well as on Facebook on the Rising Tide page and my profile page. Always remember, folks, stay smart, stay safe, wash your damn hands, and never apologize for being awesome. On behalf of everyone at Indie Event, we have to say buttbeard, because Meredith told us to. And thank you to this great panel of people who have been here all night. And enjoy the rest of Indie Event. We'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?